Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Society of Schenectady. My name is Robin Salvin, she, her pronouns, and I'm serving as your worship associate today. It is Sunday, August 11th, 2024, here in very sunny and comfortably warm Schenectady, New York. Who knew that that was a thing that we could do? Welcome to all of you joining us here in the Great Hall and those of you online. We hope you will feel welcome and at peace here. If you are visiting us for the first time, we offer you an especially warm welcome. We hope that you will stay after the service for a time of conversation and connection here in the Great Hall, on Zoom, or out in the back garden, calling back to the comfortably warm outside. This morning's service is brought to you by previous participants and facilitators of UUSS's Wellspring program, Rosie Lewis, Sue Cloninger, and Chrissy Biseglia. It will focus on what they've taken away from this program. Let us take some time now to sit together in stillness. You might place your feet on or toward the floor with your hands resting in your lap or wherever they are most comfortable. Closing your eyes or watching the chalice flame can help us get quiet and centered as I share these words from Nancy Reed McKee. Sit and rest for a minute. Take several deep breaths in and out again, calling attention to this space. Attention. Pay attention. Pay attention to where you are right now. I mean where you are, and where you are. You are here in this community, in this sanctuary, in this state, in this country, on this beautiful blue planet, whirling through the tailspin of a galaxy. You are unique. You are made of cells and hormones. You are a mix of thoughts, emotions, values. You are the inheritors of your parents' and ancestors' dreaming. You are part of the human inhabitants on this earth. You are. You exist. You are breathing. You are still. You are connected. You are present. You have a holy spark inside you. You are here now. You are paying attention. Blessed be.
Good morning. What will you do with your one wild and precious life? I mean, maybe I could, what a question, right? Though beautiful, I always find that statement so daunting, maybe even a bit accusatory. It brings to mind sitting silently in meditation until your purpose is revealed, then leaving all you've ever known to spend each wild and precious moment in worthy pursuit of an honorable, global scale goal. Like many, my days are full of the demands of parenthood, maintaining relationships, work responsibilities, and trying to be a generally acceptable member of my community. My mental space is full of what forms need to be filled out. Did I schedule that appointment? There's only 6 pairs of clean underwear and we need to pack 8. Is the cat getting skinny? No silence, minimal contemplation, all wild, a lot less precious. One of the readings from the Wellspring Sources course is an essay called Listening to Our Lives by Kathleen McTeague. In it, she has many of the same laments as I do. How in the world can any of us manage a spiritual practice when our days are spent chaotically juggling work and family? Perhaps growth will come to us in ragged little fragments we snatch as we race by, but if it depends on long, focused periods of silence, we're out of luck. She talks about reframing, a way to notice moments in the chaos where the deeper part of our lives is calling to us. Maybe the wild and precious part? Her spiritual practice is to end the day by asking, Where today did I really hear the language of my life? For the last 10 years, I have been doing a similar practice. Every night, I write down one happy moment from the day. No long journaling, just a brief statement. Some days it's a big thing. My mother with Alzheimer's said, "I love you too," last week for the first time in years. Other days I have to really try to find something positive. My shampoo smells good. I made it to bedtime. My COVID test is less positive today. But knowing I have to write something down at the end of the day forces me to notice and pause more throughout the day. Over time, patterns have emerged that have helped me figure out where I find the deepest meaning in my life, where I want to spend my wild and precious moments. I noticed how often I feel better after moving my body. So when I'm feeling down, I try to sneak in a quick walk with the dog or a 15-minute dance session. I noticed how much I enjoyed the company of friends at my book club, so I sought out more opportunities to connect with those friends. I noticed how much I love the smell of citrus, especially in the morning, so I put a scented candle by my bed. Small actions that have made my life feel richer and more spiritually full. In March 2020, my son Charlie's daycare closed for 3 months. My husband and I juggled childcare and work, alternating shifts well into the night. Though entirely exhausted, I noticed that 95% of my happy moments were times I got to be with Charlie. When daycare announced they were reopening, my exhaustion let out a relieved sigh, but my spirit was less enthused. I was reading Untamed by Glennon Doyle at the time, and in it she challenges the reader to imagine the truest, most beautiful life for themselves, and that "not this" is a valid answer. The idea of going back to only an hour or two a day with Charlie seemed unbearable, but over 35 years of achievement and productivity programming also felt insurmountable. I thought back to all those wild and precious moments I had written down, put down the book, turned to my husband, and made the proposal to work part-time. Due to a vast amount of privilege, we made it work, and I've now had years of wild and precious time with my child, and plenty of not-so-precious ones as well. And by no means a mindfulness guru, I still spend way too much time scrolling on my phone to hold that title. But Wellspring and the practices I learned there have helped me listen to my life a bit more, to notice my own joy and take actions, big and small, to make my life a little more worthy of the wild and precious title.
I'm Rosie Lewis. I've been a participant in and facilitator of Wellspring for a few years. In both roles, I was an active member of a small group of USS members willing to question my life, invite stillness, and listen deeply, while others attempted to do the same. During each Wellspring course, I added a set of practices or tools to what I call my toolbox. Currently, there's meditation, prayer, and journaling, which, along with my spiritual advisor, help imbue my life with intent and shape. Brene Brown, a researcher and storyteller, spent decades studying courage, vulnerability, shame, empathy, and forgiveness. Her aha discovery about forgiveness is that in order to grieve, something has to die, and something new has to be born. She believes grief is an inherent part of forgiveness and the ultimate act of love. My partner died over a few years ago, and I am deeply acquainted with grief. In mourning those we love, we are changed and reborn. My heart is softer. I love more deeply, and my eyes well up with tears that fall down more often now. And it's good. I have a larger well of compassion. I am changed and I am more because of suffering. I had resented my father most of my life. I resented and could not forgive him for my mother's struggles to support a family of 5 alone. Early last year, I began exploring forgiveness and the question, is there someone I wanted to forgive, and was I ready to try? This question was posed to me by my spiritual advisor, and I began the journey towards forgiving my father, who had died in the early 70s. I had listened to my father's story from my mother, her stories about a boy and a man she'd known and loved since the age of 14. My uncle spoke of a brother he idolized and loved and had worked hard besides in the fields of Georgia. He told stories from their childhood, and I had never asked to know, to understand, to see him. I didn't care to. And so I began to understand my father's pain. He felt unloved, unseen, unwanted, and unlovable. All of the uns. Usually a prefix used to negate. He felt negated and lost, given away as a child to a grandmother who needed support but was incapable of loving him, longing to be a part of his large 11-member family, and always told, no, not now, not yet. He carried that hurt child with him throughout his life, breaking and yelling and unaccountable for his life or anyone else's, incapable of doing so, emotionally stunted. My mom shared the good parts of her life with my father. She shared their love story. She bore no resentment toward him. She was grateful for her children. She was thriving, happy, and healthy. And she wished them only peace, to rest in peace. She still loved him. Knowing my father's story, he became more than the loud, angry man passing through the house on his way in or out. I felt compassion for him. I gave him grace. The year after my partner died, I made a journey to Georgia to connect with my people, as my grandmother would say. My father's and my mother's families grew up in a small rural town in Georgia. They were kissing cousins. I traveled with my mother down small red dirt roads, deep ditches on either side, to visit my father's grave. The graveyard was beside a small one-room cinder block church, which appeared dazzlingly white on the bright, hot Georgia day. And there on his tombstone, the epitaph carved by my grandfather, these words, "My beloved son, gone too soon." And I cried and allowed myself to grieve for me, to grieve for my father, to forgive his absence, and to make room for love. What will you do with your one wild and precious life? If you are looking to develop your own spiritual practices, deepen your understanding of our UU faith, connect deeply with other folk in the congregation, or cultivate a sense of purpose and meaning in your own life, you may want to consider signing up for this year's Wellspring course. Details and registration link can be found in circuits, on flyers around the building, or you can talk to me after service.